Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Barr, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I want to share with you guys something totally different than I normally would share, and it's the entrepreneurial journey or the entrepreneurial roller coaster. You may or may not have heard of it, but at the core of it, it's just going up and down and up and down. But it's how it goes and the emotions that you feel along the way that kind of get you to the next level. So I want to break that down. Now, this is not something that would have made or broke my decision of becoming an entrepreneur. So that is something to keep in mind. But if you're already an entrepreneur, you know all too well how this feels. Now, if you're not an entrepreneur, this is something you're going to experience, and it's totally normal. I know tons of entrepreneurs out there, and honestly, they all go through the exact same process, the exact same feelings and things like that. And I want to share that with you because the moment you do, the moment you start to become a little more comfortable. And not that, trust me, I'm in it, right? And currently in a little bit of a lull. No big deal. That's just normal, right? But like, it's how you deal with it. It's how you react to it, and ultimately how you're going to overcome it. Because honestly, 2 months ago, it was incredible. And then you're like, oh, now there's more clients, which is never a bad thing, but more work and more delegation and all these different things, right? Not that it's a lull in it's like, okay, well, we're not like, it's not this missile launch here that you're going to go through. It's like, okay, we got to process before we can bring on more clients and more clients, right? Because that's just how a service-based business is. But the feelings and emotions that you go through as an entrepreneur that I've been going through and most other entrepreneurs have been going through is normal. So I brought out the handy-dandy little pen here and my little board that I'm going to draw up some kind of like a little diagram of how it is, because you don't really realize what it's like. And I don't know if anybody's read out there Think and Grow Rich, but phenomenal book, Napoleon Hill. And he talks about almost getting there. And then he doesn't, right? And some people do. Some people, it's just, success is literally around the corner. It's just getting there, all right? And I talk a lot about luck, and I've talked a lot about luck on podcasts, but success and luck are very similar. Success has an equation, luck has an equation. Luck's equation is opportunity plus or times preparedness equals luck, right? You have to be prepared for an opportunity that may come up, and you have to have an opportunity and be prepared for that opportunity, right? It's just, that's how it goes. That means that equates luck, right? And just because you work hard doesn't mean you're going to be successful. But what I will say is, so often people just quit when they're right there. Like, they're not that far away from the finish line. And honestly, it kills me inside to hear that and see that. But on the flip side of things, it's like, some people just don't realize how close they are. Imagine if Elon Musk stopped making rockets, right? We wouldn't be in space. If the last one, the one that made or broke his, decision or ability to get to the moon, if he just threw in the towel, it would have been over, right? He could have. How many failures can he take? But now that he's there, he's working on new stuff. So I'm just going to jump into my whiteboard here, and I just want to break this down because it's the weirdest, we'll call it paradox. And whoops, sorry guys. This whole tablet thing is still very new to me. But we're just going to draw a nice little graph. Super basic, super simple. And this is literally like, this is your time down here. And my handwriting's awful. And this is how you feel, right? I'm just going to put a nice little smiley face. That's my little smiley face. And when you first start, right, this is your starting point. So this is when you're going to start your business. And you start out, at least I did, and I'm assuming most other people did, but you actually start out not down here, right? This is, you give your little sad face down here, but you don't actually start down up here. You start actually up here, right? And it's kind of weird because the moment you start, you're psyched about your new business. And then after a little while, right, you can only keep that energy for so long, and you may go a little like this, right? It's good and bad, good and bad. And then after a while, you're going to hit a point where you're going to start to go all the way down, right? And you're like, oh my God, is this going to work? This, that, and the other thing. And that's really, in my opinion, when your entrepreneurial journey starts. Because this right here, this little dip that you're riding, and this is, you don't have a product that you can go to market with. Nobody's buying your stuff. You have no customers. Like, you thought about the idea. You wanted to go pursue the idea. And then you hit the bottom, right? Like, you're like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I get new customers? Like, you're strapped for anything, right? It's very rare that actually people go the other way and just continuously go up and up and up. You're like, oh my God, I literally have no idea what I'm doing, right? Or maybe you do have a customer, but then you have a second customer and you can only help one customer at a time, right? Whatever that problem is, most people hit right here when they're beginning. And I think that this point makes or breaks entrepreneurs. They're either going to say, yep, I'm going to keep going, or nope, this is not for me. The people that leave, they exit stage right and they're done. That's it. But the people that stay, this is when the herd starts thinning, or the crowd starts thinning, is you start to go on this thing, right? Like you start to figure it out, figure it out, you build up a little bit of confidence, and then you kind of plateau a little bit. And right about here is when this weird thing happens, when you're like, oh my God, this is great, I'm making sales and things like that. And usually it's a catastrophic event or something like that. And when I say catastrophic, I mean like your first customer fires you, or you get a refund request, or whatever it may be, right? Or you have a pain in the butt customer, right? And that's just natural, and you start to let it get at you. And this is something I felt, right? I was growing, and then all of a sudden one of my first clients fired me for no other reason than they left their company, and that was pretty much it, right? Like they were hiring me separately to run their social media. He left the company. He ended up going and changing careers a little bit, and he's like, hey man, just want to let you know we're done. I'm moving careers. And that was devastating to me, right? So then you feel that, and then you just drop back down. But you don't actually get down all the way to the super unhappy part, right? Or we'll just use that as a gauge. But you just get a little upset, right? You're like, okay, I could do this. I could do this, right? And you just got to keep like telling yourself that, right? The first dip is usually the hardest in most businesses. And then after that, you're going to start to be like, okay, you know what? I got this. You might pick up another couple clients. And essentially this roller coaster does this over and over. Assuming you're working on your business nonstop. If you are, and you're actively growing your business and things like that, and actually putting time, energy, and effort into growing your business, you're actually going to have way more success than you would if you were to just stay in the state, right? If you were just super depressed, right, you could go a different way, right? Let's go red, because that's a bad color, we'll say. But you could go down here, right? And you could exit like other people do right down here, right? They go down and they exit. Or you could take the bright side and you could just, keep working and going up. And keep working and going up. Of course you're going to have downfalls and things like that. I could remember vividly the downfalls I have. First time my client fired me, right? That was one. The second thing was I was actually getting so much business that I was freaking out. I could not figure out how to keep up with the business. There was way too much of a demand for just me to do anything. Like I couldn't do that. There's no way I could possibly handle all the business. So then it's, oh my God, I need to train somebody, and I need to hire somebody, and I need to have somebody work with me. That way they could take something off my plate. And every single one of these, right, all these little bumps right here on the road aren't necessarily a bad thing. But you have to just figure out, like, they're a challenge in the business, right? They're a challenge that you have to figure out along the way. And some of those challenges may very well be easier than others, and these dips may absolutely not be that steep, and the rises might not be that steep. For some people it might be a significantly, slower increase, and for other people it might be a much more rapid increase. But I've never actually met an entrepreneur that has actually just had a full rocket success, right? There's always problems along the way. What those problems are vastly different in every business, right? It could be Elon Musk, and Elon slept in his warehouse for, I don't know, like a month, I think it was, and he slept in there to make sure that the Model 3 was a success, right? Because they were having a ton of quality control issues and things like that. So, like, even though, yeah, he's a billionaire, like, that hit home. He slept in his factory. His employees had to buy him, I think, a bed or a couch so he could just keep working on what he wanted to do. So, like, that is the level, and think about how far ahead in his career is, versus, maybe where you're at if you're watching this video. Maybe you're in the newcomer space as far as being an entrepreneur, or you're like, just a couple months or a couple years in, right? I've now had my business for about 3 years. I worked in sales before that, and I've had a couple like little side hustles along the way. So I'm starting to feel this, but more and more, especially like growing my main business, I've felt this for sure. And even then, even during our lull, it's, oh my God, how do I make more content while I'm working with our clients, while I'm making sure my team is still working correctly, while we're still delivering on our promises? Like, that's the thing that's going to my head. So that's the bottom part. And it's not a bad thing on our whiteboard here, but it's something that you have to get over and you figure out and you piece together. And that could be asking friends, family, other business owners and things like that for I don't want to say the secret sauce of the recipe, but advice on how to get through that. Because 9 times out of 10, the moment you get through that, your business is going to launch off again because of whatever it is that you've implemented. New employees, new process, whatever it may be. But that's usually the whole premise of it, right? You just ride this really wild roller coaster constantly, and you start your little idea, and that idea just usually it's this product development phase that kills most people, or you maybe build a product and then you can't find customers, right? Like there's a million things that can happen down here, but maybe you have a good product and a solution. You ride this roller coaster, and as long as you're actively looking to grow, now let me repeat that, as long as you're actively looking to grow your business, it is pretty hard to fall off, right? You're gonna run through challenges. We're in a pandemic, yes, but as long as you keep grinding and grinding and grinding at it and trying to grow your business, I can almost guarantee, can never guarantee, but I can almost guarantee you're going to get successful. It's just a matter of time. It's the law of survivability, and just making sure that you come to work every single day with 100% and just keep trying to grow your business. Because if you're not innovating, you're going to die. If you're not growing, you're going to die, right? If you just say, hey, I'm fine with 20 clients, what happens if 3 of those clients fire you? Now do you have to replace those clients, or do you not want to grow your business anymore, right? So I've seen it actually where people freak out. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm losing clients. I'm losing clients. I'm like, well, what was your client acquisition strategy? I never had one. Well, of course you're going to lose clients. It's natural for somebody to leave you, right? For us, at our agency, our retention rate is between 1.5 years to about 2 years, depending on some of our clients. And honestly, they probably would be longer than that, but I've really only been doing SEO for about 2 years now with my agency. But that's, people will eventually leave. I don't expect all my customers to stay forever. And if they did, I would call them crazy, right? Part of marketing is to test out different things. And if you find something you like, stay with it for a long period of time. But even accountants, you're eventually going to swap out your accountant. Most people don't have the same accountant for life. Or maybe that accountant retires. Then what? What happens to you as a business owner, right? Things like that. So just keep that in mind and understand how your business is going to operate and the highs and lows and how you just deal with it and go through it, because I think it's so incredibly powerful that most people don't really realize. It takes a lot to grow a business. But on the flip side of things, when you can get through this emotional roller coaster, it's the craziest and best ride ever. So I hope this video helps. I hope this helped impact somebody in some way or another. And if you're in the process of growing your business and you're in a little bit of a lull, you got it. I promise you got it. You're going to get through it. And if you're thinking about starting a business, get ready. You're about to hit a ton of challenges, but it is so incredibly rewarding when you overcome them and achieve your goals. So my name is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. I hope this video helps. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is definitely one that I actually really, really liked. I thought this was so much fun, and kind of thinking about it really makes you think about your own entrepreneurial journey. So cool stuff. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. I'll see you guys later. Bye.